Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. And today, obviously, is a Wednesday evening for everyone here. I wanted to do a little bit of a recap of some of the news that's come out. Obviously, we're not playing this week. Of course, as you know, we're playing Barnsley. If I'm not mistaken, sorry, not Barnsley. Barrow next week Tuesday. So I thought I'd give you a little update in regards to some news that's come out of Chelsea. And of course, let's make sure to get into it. Of course. So let's obviously start with what I would like to call to be three main news pieces. I'll start with the first main bit of news, and that is that Chelsea have hired Sachin Gupta. Now, Sachin Gupta is the vice president of basketball operations at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, if you watch the Minnesota Timberwolves, you probably know about what's it called? Ant. Was it called Cat as well? You know, they went to the final. The conference finals, obviously, and they lost against Dallas Mavericks. I know I'm talking about basketball here. Let's move on quickly. But essentially, they've hired him. But the key thing about him, obviously, was the vice president of basketball operations. Now, the only reason that's basically essentially like he was like a deputy sporting director, for lack of a better word, right? Because that means that he's working with the head of the basketball, which is basically the sporting director equivalent of in football. So he's basically the deputy to that. Now, if you're bringing in a guy like him, it then brings up the question of like, what are you bringing him in for? Is he here again to be maybe a technical director? Is he here to become a deputy sporting director? What is the plan of him? Obviously, this is obviously released by the Athletic, I think it was released from the Athletic basketball side of the Athletic, of course. So it becomes a question of where is this guy going to be fitting into the team? Now, obviously, Chelsea have not released yet where he's going to be. Maybe he's got a gardening leave period where he can't say anything, he can't do anything at all before he moves into another job, and Chelsea can announce him. But as of currently, we don't know what's going on with him. This obviously is a little bit of speculation on my part, of course, but like, obviously, if someone's a VP of basketball operations, it just means they're deputy sporting director, right? So that means to me, any person that we are trying to bring in, this guy that we're trying to bring in, I should say, sorry, is probably going to be a deputy sporting director of some sport or a technical director of our footballing operations. Can't believe I'm calling football operations crazy, but listen, it is what it is. But that is the way that we, of course, will play with him. Again, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll probably get a bit more updates, probably in the coming, I think, probably weeks. I would say in regards to where he's going to be at Chelsea and his position as well. But obviously, that's the main thing, obviously, to know about. Again, we're hiring guys now. I don't know who's hiring him. Is this a decision, obviously, that Bowley and Bali have both agreed upon to bring in? I don't know, but whoever's bringing him in, it's going to be interesting to see who the person was that tried to convince him to come to Chelsea as well. Key thing to think about, obviously, with this ongoing ownership civil war that is occurring at Chelsea Football Club as well. Now, let's move on to the second topic I want to talk about, and that is on Noni Madueke. As you guys know, he's one of my favorite players at Chelsea, one of the guys that I really highly rate, that I can believe this season can really push on in his role, in the right wing role, in my personal opinion, and particularly under the Maresca system. And Fabrizio Romano has really come out of a report today, speaking in regards to, obviously, Madueke being basically a player that's been seen that can be here for many years. Let me just bring up what has been said. He says that Noni Madueke is now considered very important player for not only this season but future seasons. The feeling between Madueke and Maresca is very good, right? So again, that's what's being said so far. Now, of course, maybe, of course, you could say there's a bit of PR about that, and then maybe next season, if another team hit the little 60 M's million, for him, we'll see then if that means that brother's gone or not. But one thing I will say, of course, is that at least I think for me, the next season or two, you probably want Madueke to say clearly for one reason, Esteval, right? Because I don't want Chelsea Football Club to be rushing Esteval into the team, putting too much pressure on the young lad. He's coming from Brazil this season. He's going to be with us, I think, for the Club World Cup, if I'm not assuming next year. And going to be starting the season of us 25-26 as well. You want to be giving this guy time to embed, learn his trade. Don't really pushing him too much. Bro, it takes particularly these young lads, time to integrate, right? So you want to be making sure we're creating the right environment for these players at the end of the day. And I think clearly, with Madueke, he's another guy you can clearly see this season probably going to hopefully be his breakout season. Obviously, he had a great performance against Wolves. Crystal Palace in the first half was really good. Against, obviously, Bournemouth wasn't a great performance from him, in my personal opinion. But then again, I feel like, again, part of it obviously was on the play himself. And I think, secondly, when you've got Disasi as your fullback that's gonna, he's not overlapping in it. So you're not getting any space. You're not gonna be able to, help you beat your man at the end of the day. So that's something also that we need to, consider when we're speaking about Noni Madueke as well, in my honest opinion too. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm happy. I've always said before, maybe, you never know, if a big offer comes in for Madueke, I'm pretty sure the stance will change. Obviously, because he's still got a Neto there, still got a Palmer there. Yeah, that can still cover that wing quite nicely at the end of the day. So again, we'll see what happens. But I'm happy for Madueke that, he's clearly, trying to be integrated into the squad. Unlike, a guy, is a guy called Mikhailo Mudryk, who I want to talk about a little bit quickly as well, because obviously since Neto's come in, since Sancho's come in, I've barely seen him. Like, funnily enough, the other day when I was on, like, I think it was Chelsea Dodgers Twitter, I just saw a picture of him. I was like, rah, I've not seen this guy in ages. What's happened to him? Like, I think it's clear, unless maybe the Conference League game in the 1st of October, or maybe Barrow, you might see him play. But like, I'm not seeing that guy in a while, and it does more than likely bring the question that Mudryk Nation might be gone very soon, guys. So again, we'll probably see what happens with him. But like, that's something I wanted to bring up quickly, because you can clearly see he's gone. Like, there's nothing that's been spoken about in regards to him as well. So that's one aspect in particular I just wanted to have a little chat about, shall we say. But obviously the one main topic I want to talk about, the final main topic really, and this is something I want you guys in the comments to really discuss, because I think it's becoming a bit more of a valid argument as the season, if this continues as the season goes on, and that is of course Reece James. Now, it was reported, obviously, today, yesterday, I should say, on Monday, on Tuesday, that Reece James' injury hasn't fully healed properly, and that, he's still, in the regular required time, and that it's going to take a little bit more time for him, to get back to full fitness, and that, obviously, the club are making sure they're taking every precaution possible to make sure that he's going to be back and ready to do his job. Now, on one hand, I would argue that's a good thing at the end of the day. Listen, we can give Reece James the time that he needs, obviously, making sure that he's 100% ready to start. But again, on the other hand, it becomes a problem where, of course, let's say my guy Gusto, luckily he's back, obviously, now, but Gusto, he's injured. Reece James is injured, and then you've basically left with Disasi, right? Because I don't know, right now, I don't think Maresca, at least from what I'm inferring, I don't think he thinks maybe Achempong is ready yet, or maybe he wants more time on the training ground of Achempong before he kind of becomes comfortable to be ready to start Achempong right now. But he's just starting Disasi there, and you saw how, in my personal opinion, bro, how worried the backline really was with Disasi, bro. A lack of integration. He was just letting balls through, was not homogenous to the team. The right hand side in particular, bro, really suffered in my personal opinion, bro. Madueke consistently got the ball behind, with his back behind, was it called the player, right? Which is not great at all, because you probably with Madueke, he's a 1v1 player. He wants the ball, where he's able to face the guy 1v1 and tries to beat his man. That's the type of wingers you've got now in the team. So it's not helpful, right? And the question becomes, and I've said this before, one of the things I would have much rather is that we probably could have gotten away, one of these centre backs gone, right? Whether it be, a Badish or someone else, and we could have had an actual centre back that can play the right back ball as well. Like, he's got the primary CB but secondary right back. Like Kusuni was a great example of this that I was looking at, that I thought could do a great job for us at the end of the day, that we were not able to get. But at the end of the day, hopefully, Reece James can get fit. But again, this is the last chance saloon season for him, right? As I said before, like, we need him to be playing. I've been on 30 games. And right now, bro, he's not even made the deadline yet, which was Bournemouth, because like, that's what everyone's thinking. Oh, he's gonna be ready for us for Bournemouth. We'll be Gucci guilty. He'll start playing some minutes then. He's not even playing minutes now, and we don't even have an actual time scale even now yet as to when we believe that Reece James will come back. So again, it's rather annoying, but it does beg the question: should we have Bruno right back in the summer? Or should Maresca's now be putting much more trust in Achempong, which I think probably a lot of people would be saying, because Achempong's a guy that's highly rated, really believed in. So if that's the case, why are we not starting my guy Achempong maybe, and giving him the minutes that he needs, to actually show himself and challenge Gusto? Because at the end of the day, guys, right now, if I'm Malo Gusto, bro, he knows he's RB1. He's got no competition, and that's one of the things I don't like is I don't want players to be resting on their laurels, right? Because they're like, listen, I can't get a dropped, bro. What is he gonna put on this ass or something like that? You want to make sure that you're giving Gusto, he's a young lad, competition to make sure that he's able to further his development as well. So that's the one thing I want to say. But of course, my question to everyone in the comments, as I was asking you before, is: do you think it might be, if this continues with Reece James, the next season, 25-26 summer, it might be time for Reece James to say, "Listen, Reece James, we love you. You're my El Capitano. You're one of my top G's from Gotham. But it's time for us to move you on." That's because I think there's a I think that there might be there has to be a serious conversation to be had. I real like if there's not if he continues to be out with injury this season. But that's just my honest opinion. But obviously, let me know in the comments. Now, that is pretty much the video, guys, as always. I just want to say really quickly, I think you've seen the new change in the title. I know a lot of people have been saying to me, Ahmed, the bridge 258, it's not really nice. It's not really something roll up to tongue. You want to be, standing out, what I mean? Standing out in the field, everything like that. And so as such, listen, boys and girls, I've listened, I've learned, what I mean? And I've done what I needed to do. And boys and girls, we've renamed ourselves now the Bridge Nation. Obviously, the nation section is, of course, of the fact that I always say, whenever I support a player or like a team or stuff, I always call them something nation. So that's what we've been doing here. As always, but big up to you guys as always. I've been your host, Mr. Bridge TV. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. As always, like, share, subscribe. Make sure to tell a friend, and help out the channel to make sure we get bigger, greater, stronger. Thank you very much as always. Have a nice one, and as always, please do take care. Love.